Hello once again, it's me Matthew from Matthew North Music, and as ever thank you for watching the video, and if you like the sort of stuff I do, please think about hitting the subscribe button because that really does help make the channel grow and helps with the algorithm and all of that. And if you enjoyed this video, think about hitting the like button, and if you click the little bell icon then you'll be notified every time there's a new video. Anyway, today isn't really so much of a video because I'm not really showing you anything. It's more of a blog, and it came about because a few weeks ago I discovered a new channel on YouTube based on the American TV show Midnight Special. Now, Midnight Special was a late night music show that was shown all over America, but quite often they'd have bits flown in from around the world and shown on the show. One of the most famous things was David Bowie at the Marquee in 1973, which was called the 1980 Floor Show, and clips of this were shown on the Midnight Special, and it was really the last Ziggy Stardust performance because it was done after the Hammersmith gig, but they had Ainsley Dunbar on drums, I think, instead of Woody Woodmansey, but it was still Mick Ronson and Trevor Bolden, whatever. But another piece that was on this YouTube channel was some clips of Rod Stewart and the Faces at the Gaumont State Theatre in London at the end of 1974. Now, this is a really significant concert because it is the last UK concert ever given by Rod Stewart and the Faces. And they had a special guest of Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. And there's some quite famous clips from this concert. And it was filmed by a TV company on videotape, and then it was syndicated. There was a 1 hour version of it shown on ITV, and then there was stuff shown on the Midnight Special. And in 1985, I think it was, it got released as a video cassette and a laserdisc. Now, the versions of the clips you see on Midnight Special are from the original videotape, so I'm guessing it was recorded on videotape, they probably sent it to America, they transcoded it into NTSC, and they used that to show the clips that they used on the show. And all of the clips that Midnight Special put on their YouTube channel are also in the 1 hour 5 minute cut that was released on home video. Now, the home video version was what's called film recorded. So what they do is they stick a 16mm film camera in front of a TV monitor and they record the video onto film, and then that way it's easier for distribution and any additional editing. And a really famous music film that was done in this way was Frank Zappa's 200 Motels, because that was shot all on videotape, recorded on 2-inch quadruplex, and then cut to film and then edited. Now, if you watch this 1 hour edit on YouTube, the picture quality is not great because obviously it was done in the 70s, film recorded in the 70s. It's never going to look great. The cinematic version of Goodbye Cream was also done in the same way. And the sound's not very good. Now, here's the thing. In my day job, I work in the television industry. And about 20 years ago, for over 20 years ago, I think, one of my work colleagues was one of the camera operators on that gig. And he was what's called the racks engineer. And what they do is they sit in a van and they adjust the levels on the cameras. They adjust the brightness, the contrast, and the color balance. And this is a very important job because what you want is all of your cameras to have the same, to look the same, so that you're not going to jump from one shot to another and the picture changes color. It might go a bit pink or a bit blue or a bit yellow or whatever. So he was a racks engineer. And in the van, they had the 2-inch quadruplex video recorder recording it, and that was the master. But they also had a 1/4-inch tape machine, it's a standard audio tape, and that was running at 7.5 inches per second, and that was just doing a backup of the sound. And so they stick this tape on, it would start running, then they'd flip it over because it was a mono recording, so they only used half the tape. And then these tapes probably never get used. They were just literally there as a backup. Also, it was handy for people in the production department because they could just listen to the tape. They could make notes about what they want to use, what they don't want to use, and stuff like that. Anyway, a couple of years after this concert happened at this TV facility, there was a big pile of tapes that were destined to be chucked out. And so my former colleague had a rummage through, and he pulled out a couple and saved them because they were programs he'd worked on. And he'd kept this tape for years. And one day he said to me at work, he said, are you able to transfer a tape for me? And I said, yeah, sure, what is it? And it was this tape, and it was The Faces, Gaumont State Theatre, 1974. And he said, yeah. I said, yeah, no problem. And I actually did it in my place of work because we had an excellent Studer A807 tape machine. We had this computer-based recording system called Soundscape, which now sounds absolutely antiquated, but it was the Pro Tools of, 1997. It was really, really good stuff. So I made a really clear recording of this, and I made him a CD of it, gave him his tape back, and I kept a copy of it myself. And then I completely forgot about it. I forgot I'd even done the dub. And this recording is just sat in a box with a load of other CDRs for, over 20 years. And then I saw this Midnight Special thing, and I thought, oh yeah, that's that same gig. And then I looked up the set list on Setlist FM. And the set list was based on the 1 hour, 5-minute version that was released on home video. And I spent a good couple of hours looking around the internet trying to find any more information about this concert, and all I came up with was this. The set list from the video is what's known as the de facto set list of this concert. No other tracks from that concert have ever been played, broadcast or released. But here's the thing. The tape that I dubbed off is about 1 hour 45-ish long. So we've got 40 minutes worth of extra music. And secondly, the sound quality is way better than that film recording that was used for the home video release. Now, I don't know what's happened to the tapes. I don't know if the 2-inch quadruplex tapes still exist. I'm guessing probably not, because if they did exist, I'd have thought they would have gone to those tapes to make the home video rather than taking it off a film recording. But there again, when Farewell Cream was first released on VHS in, 1988, I think it was, they released the 45 50-minute version, and it was from the cinematic release, so it's off the film recording, even though the BBC have the video version of it, which does get repeated from time to time. Anyway, what I'm going to tell you now is, I can't play you any of the music, obviously, but I can tell you what I've done with the audio, and I can tell you the track listing of the gig, because I think it'd be a really interesting thing to know. So anyway, the gig starts with 2 songs. It's all over now, and take a look at the guy. They are both on the 1 hour video. They're there. It's all over now. That's one of the tracks from the gig that does get shown on telly occasionally. Then we get quite a long track, and it's I Know I'm Losing You. And that was not on the video. That's never been released. And it has a fantastic drum solo from Kenny Jones on it. Really cracking drum solo. Then we've got a medley of Bring It On Home, and You Send Me, which again is the same as on the video. And then we've got a few more bits that are the same as the video. Sweet Little Rock and Roller, I'd Rather Go Blind, and the Jimi Hendrix song Angel, which again is another track that you do see now and again. Then we've got my favourite bit of the entire gig, musically, and that is a segue of Stay With Me and Gasoline Alley. So they play Stay With Me, then they go into Gasoline Alley, and then they come back with Stay With Me again. That is not on the released version. Then we've got a track called Mine For Me, which is a track that ended up on Rod Stewart's Smiler album. Again, not on the released version. And nor is a song called Too Bad, which follows. Then we've got I Can Feel the Fire and You Can Make Me Dance, Sing, blah, blah, blah. That's on the released version. Then we've got another melody segue, but this is the interesting bit. he starts with the intro of Elmore James's Dust My Broom, or Dust My Blues, whatever you like to call it. I think he sings the Dust My Blues lick. And then that goes into Twisting the Night Away. And that's on the video. But then after Twisting the Night Away, they then go into doing the whole of Dust My Blues, which, again, isn't on the video. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks, basically, that weren't released on the video. Then they go off stage, and they come back and do the encore, which is You Wear It Well, Maggie May, and then they do an a cappella We'll Meet Again. And then right at the end, Rod Stewart says, see you next year. So I think it was the intention of the band, they were not going to split up at this stage, even though it's seen as the final gig. They weren't going to split up. And they then obviously did a tour of America, then they did split up. But then the interesting thing is you then hear a tape play over the PA system, and it's the single version of You Can't Make Me Dance, Sing, etc. And that was, I think, the Faces single at the time. So they were obviously, the record company or whatever, were seriously trying to push this record and try and get it in the charts. So they probably played it at the end of the gig over the PA, so that was the song people went home thinking about and hopefully would then go out and buy. So yeah, that is the actual set list, and the whole tape actually lasts for 1 hour, 52 minutes and 32 seconds. And I make that about 42 minutes more material than what was released, although you have got that playback at the end, so you could knock a few minutes off for that. Now you may ask, what have I done with the tape? Well, I did a few messages on social media to various people I know in the industry, so if anyone had any leads, because ultimately this gig's 50 years old, 50 years ago next year, and I think the recording is good enough quality that it would make a great release. So I drew a blank at trying to get hold of Rod Stewart, I drew a blank trying to get hold of Ronnie Wood, but I then sent an email through his website to Kenny Jones, and I spoke to someone who admins his website, and I got a message back from Kenny through his person saying, yes, I would love to have this audio and thank you very much for finding it. So I've sent the audio to them, they now have it, and as far as I'm concerned, my job is done. I've sent the audio back to the people that made the music. I mean, they may well have the master videotapes, and if they do, that would be brilliant, because then they could do they could upscale it, some of this AI stuff now you've got for upscaling video to HD. I mean, they could make something absolutely brilliant. They could demix the sound, make a stereo mix, whatever, if they've got it. And if they have, this might just remind them that, oh, this gig's 50 years old and we've got this material. If not, then the audio might be useful for them to upgrade what they have got. And, it's like Farewell Cream. I mean, if you had the proper audio for that farewell gig, even though the picture quality is not very good, at least it's complete and you could put good quality audio with it, you'd have a really great watch. Or, as I kind of thought they might release it as a double CD, which would be really good. Double CD with a DVD for 50th anniversary, nice product. But anyway, I've sent it to Kenny Jones. Kenny Jones now has this audio, and that's it really. If anyone asks me, oh, can I have a copy? The answer is obviously no. I do not own the rights to this audio. This audio does not belong to me. I am not going to release it anywhere. I am not going to play it to anybody. If I get permission, maybe I might, do a radio interview with somebody and play a track, but that would only be much further down the line with all permissions in place. But with no permission in place, as I said, it's just some digital files. They've now gone to the right person, and that's the job done. And that's it really. So I just thought I'd tell you this story really. And also, I'd like to document things that happen now and again. And I've got a lot, if you like these kind of stories about audio that I found quite a lot. And there's some videos on YouTube of the interviews I did in 2018 when I found some missing Scott Walker recordings. In fact, it was audio recording of Scott Walker's first ever TV appearance, and including some of the rehearsals. And some of that stuff sounds fantastic. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's not anything more exciting. I have got an armful of electronic projects that I have got to do. It's just that, you know, life's got in the way at the moment. Plus, I have actually been working on some music. Nothing brand new, but it is new music, new recordings of stuff. And I've been working on a couple of cover versions. And I've also started writing again, like actual proper songs. So there should be new music from me this year. There might well be some new music from Secrets for September, and there's almost definitely going to be some new music from All Living Fear this year. So yeah, plenty of stuff going on. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, as I said, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.